Hey, watch out for quicksand. It will pull you in. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Drew, and I am popping on and creating a little episode here to talk about just that subject, quicksand. How many of you out there experienced quicksand? Anybody? If you're familiar with the concept, I'll quickly break it down. Everyone's heard of quicksand, but if you actually think about the concept of quicksand, what it means, how it affects you, and what it does to you. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you're walking across a small field, maybe half a football field. And if it were just regular desert sand, no big deal. You just walk across that field, you get to the other side. But if you were walking across quicksand, the way it works, so I'm told, is you actually slowly begin to sink into the sand. And rumor has it that what makes matters even worse is the more you try and resist and the more you try and get away from it, the more you try and fight it, the more it drags you in to the point that it can completely consume you. Those that have survived quicksand supposedly say that all you do is you keep your calm and you don't resist, you don't channel that energy of fighting the force, and then the quicksand essentially has no effect on you. Maybe you just sink a little bit and then you stop. Now, whether quicksand's real or not, I don't know. I'm not fact checking all of that, but for the sake of the concept and enjoying the conversation, let's think about that, because I recently had the opportunity to step in quicksand on accident. And sometimes these scenarios can happen in unexpected ways, right? In this particular scenario, I was having a conversation with someone about a business-related matter, and there was some frustration, okay? The frustration in this individual that, things weren't going a desired way, and so that was being conveyed and expressed, which was no problem at all. But here's where things get sticky. It's easy for us to, when we're frustrated, to let that frustration be known, which is perfectly okay. But one thing we have to be careful of as entrepreneurs is to not let emotions cloud our judgment and unnecessarily cloud the ways in which we communicate with people, right? It's one thing to express frustration, but another to, change the way that the communication takes place, because then you start to look at scenarios where you can actually damage or cause damage to the business operations based on a change in the way the flow goes, right? So the scenario was one where you recognize what's happening and you see that there is a frustration that may be fair, but when you notice that there's a change in the communication to a point where, there starts to become a loss in professionalism, that's where I think we have to watch out and not get sucked in, because it's very easy to want to let things get personal, right? If you're having a discussion, let's say you're trying to accomplish some goal or achieve some objective, right? You're trying to run a 4-minute mile, right? And if you're training for that and you miss the mark, right? Especially if you put some effort in, there's going to be some frustration there. But more importantly, there has to be the constructive energy channeled in the right direction to make sure that you are more effective in hitting your goals in the next attempt. And that's where I think we all can just do our best. We should all do our best to take awareness of how we not only behave, but how we communicate. Because if you're getting pulled into someone else's quicksand, then that can be dangerous for you, because it just demonstrates a lack of control. True Zen like mind. Whether you're dealing with an irate customer, something broke. I remember there were countless times where, in corporate America, you sold them the thing, and that was all well and good, and they paid massive amounts of money, and they've got their support contracts, but the thing broke. And there's big money on the line and there's frustrations there and people are heated. And so those frustrations can be exchanged about the situation, but when you start to, point things at people, that's where you get into sticky situations, and it's always wise to recognize and separate yourself from those so that you don't get unnecessarily pulled into that quicksand, because you never want to have a scenario where things just get taken downward unnecessarily over a simple disagreement or exchange. So it's one of the things I've learned in business is to always keep it professional, because at times our personalities may want to poke and prod based on our frustration. Sometimes we can channel our angst at people, right? If the receiver dropped the ball and the quarterback put the ball right in his hands in the end zone for the winning touchdown, and he drops it, it's like, of course there's that natural tendency to want to point the finger at that guy. He blew the game, when really it's so much more to it than that. But true professionals are always able to keep their composure, and that's one of those things we just have to be aware of. If someone else is getting prickly, don't fall into the cactus, right? Nobody hugs the cactus. Great little kicks book we got our hands on, by the way, and one of those things you just have to kind of learn about when you deal with people. So one of the ways I've learned how to see better is to look out for quicksand. Don't step in it. Don't step in it. You can see it sometimes when it's coming. Watch out for quicksand out there, and you'll have much safer travel. So that was just something different I wanted to share with you guys, since that was a recent occurrence. It was like, okay, I got it. Not even worry about it though. We are going to maneuver around that minefield. So just think it is in like state, and never get too emotional, especially over business. Making sure you keep a keen, focused mind, and that will always help you to make the best decisions in any situation. So with that, keep learning how to see better, folks. This is your host, Drew Davis. Looking forward to having you guys join another episode soon. So in the meantime, subscribe it, like, share it with a friend. See ya.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.